tremendously, and at 29, I got pregnant. And the fourth key criteria came in for me. I want to make money because I want to support my family and I want this to be a nice, graceful, easy ride here. So those are my big four. And I've stayed true, and they have worked really well for me. In the course of my career, I've managed a band. Well, actually, my first job was, selling textbooks to university profs with Prentice Hall. And that was my only job. Since then, I've created my positions in the world. I started managing a band, Blue Northern, and we became the top Canadian, most played Canadian original music in the country in the 80s. I go back a ways. Then I produced Tears Are Not Enough, which brought in all the Canadian artists, Bryan Adams, David Foster, Joni Mitchell, all the greats, and together with Live Aid, raised over $3 million for African hunger relief. And it was primarily through the youth that was raised. They were on the phones saying, "Mom, what's your Visa? Dad, what's your American Express?" Went on from there to produce television shows with music, and then in the 90s, I got what it was to build a team and to really get together with people with the same vision, with staff and volunteers, and we created Music West, which grew in its day to be the largest music industry conference and festival for original music, and second to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, which is still the leading conference in the music industry. And that segued into Slam City Jam, hats off to skating, which was the North American Skateboard Championships, and filled the Coliseum and then BC Place Stadium, and really enrolled the vision of a lot of wonderful people that magnetized and brought many other people in. So I've had a wonderful time creating jobs through visions and done very well in the process. I was nominated for Canadian Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, and I was awarded with the 40 Under 40 back when I was under 40, and Ethics in Action for turning down tobacco sponsorship when the entertainment industry was living off of it. And what I'm doing now is, I think, the most meaningful enterprise that I've set off to do. Because at a certain point, I had made enough money, paid off the house, saw my son through college, and had $1 million in the bank, which I figured was more than enough to retire on. And it was like, so what am I here to do? What's really needs to be done? And I was recruited basically by the Earth. So I'm here to recruit you. The sustainability issue that we're facing in today's world is truly the most paramount, important issue that we have. And we're just at this leading edge of so many things transforming in that process. And I really love the sustainability initiative of the skate company that spoke earlier. So what we've developed is a educational program for high school students. And there's been a lot of offerings to high schools, to teachers, to bring sustainability into the school curriculum. But it hasn't worked because they don't know what teachers need. They are the most overcapacity, overextended, under-resourced, and yet the most aware population that I've come upon. So what we've created is a very flexible, modular approach to sustainability that connects the global issues to everyday choices that people make, and presented it in a way, it's a blended curriculum, so it's online. The students go online to research their action packs and are led through also experiential activities in their day-to-day lives so they can see how they're actually contributing to these big issues by the choices they're making. And then they're, brought through a critical thinking process so that they can assess and make different choices. And the presentations they make to their classmates teaches their classmates about their specific topics, so they learn through teaching. It's in its third year of R&D. We went from 500 students testing it in the first year to 1,500 students testing it in the second year. And the teachers are paying for this. They license this program. In the last year, it was a 400%. Teachers are calling us going, what is this? I want this. And it's now being used by over 4,500 students in the Lower Mainland here. And we haven't launched it yet. We've been just talking to teachers and modifying and making it better. It's good. It's ready to launch. it's ready to launch with your help. So what we want to do is build a team that can look at a marketing plan that will look at what else is out there in the market, in the educational field. Because we've been very busy creating what we've been doing without actually, that's the way I do it, you know, and then I see what's up there afterwards. But with tons of input from the teachers and the students, what I've heard is that there isn't anything in this blended approach. The old school approach is a textbook, which is basically out of date before it's printed, and it uses a lot of trees in the process, and it's expensive. So in this context, the students are given links. We do the pre-research. They go online to the websites, the YouTube videos, learn about this information, and you know, all leading to their presentation. We license it to the schools. We are licensing it right now per student. And what we want to know is, what are the other offerings out there? What are the distributors? We want to, you know, basically look at the marketing plan, the price point, the product, what else is out there, who are the best people to associate with to do that, and the best ways to promote it. What we have found is giving professional development workshops to teachers has worked really well. So we're looking at the conferences in the different school districts to distribute it that way. I'm really excited to mentor an MBA team. I've actually been in the executive coaching field after between Slam City Jam and starting Be the Change Earth Alliance. So I know a lot about what it is to be an effective team. So we're looking for that beautiful diversity of different kinds of ways of thinking. You know, the detail, research, pragmatic thinker, the visionary, you know, go for the world, we can make it happen, set the goals high kind of thinker. I'll be working directly with the team. Depending on how many people come forward will depend upon how far we go with the marketing plan. It could also be developed into a business development plan, looking at operations and budgets as well. So we've got 2 full-time staff in our office. We have 2 part-time UBC interns, and we also have faculty of education interns working with us, and Royal Roads Masters in Environmental Education, doing research for evaluating the program. So we love working with students, and I look forward to working with you. That's it. Are there any questions? Yes?
I'm curious about if you developed this project based on what the curriculum of BC is, or if you developed it sort of independently and then are tied it in. And my follow-up question to that is, if you did build it based on BC, have you looked into how applicable it is to the rest of the provinces in Canada?
Thank you. Yes, what we discovered was sustainability is not in the schools because, you know, a teacher has to develop a whole course on that, and a principal has to put the, you know, the outlay, and the budgets are so tight right now. So the few times that it is an elective, it only reaches a small number of students. So the reason we did this modular approach is so that it can be integrated into mainstream courses that are already there. So it's being picked up in Planning 10, 8, 9, and 10. With planning is, I don't know, it's this really boring course that everybody has to take, right? And they have to take Planning 10 to graduate. So that was like my Rocks of Gibraltar. Let's go through there. We'll get everybody that way. And then it's being picked up in home economics because it's dealing with food and toxins and the you know, conscious consumption. And that is, you know, what they do in home economics, and making decisions about disposables and plastics. And it's being picked up in social studies, all the grades, and social justice in particular, because we have a whole justice module. I should have told you the module, sorry. They're health, conservation, conscious consumption, justice, connection, and innovation. And innovation is where they do school projects to, you know, change the systems in their school. So they're looking at bringing, you know, local produce in instead of, you know, and looking at meatless Mondays and that kind of stuff, you know, an innovation project. And we have looked at the Planning 10 is a required course in, it's called different things in different provinces, but it's essentially the same thing right across Canada.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, there are 500,000 high school students in British Columbia and 6 million students across Canada. And right now, they're licensing the pilot for $4 a student per year. And then we update it every year so that the links and everything are updated in the YouTube videos, because this is really leading edge information. And because it's modular, we have these action packs within the values, the modules. We can add action packs. So this year we're working with equal justice, and we're putting in the Canadian Environmental Bill of Rights into the justice value. And we're working with environmental defense and bringing in 3 more action packs on toxins. So it has that capacity to grow, yes.
I may have missed this, but how many MBA students are you looking for your team?
I wanted to see who was interested, and then we'll decide what we take on. I want to start with the marketing plan, and as I said, depending on who all is there, we can do the research and continue and do a full business development plan. But we will work as a team, so we'll decide what research wants to be done and who will do it. We'll have that whole peer support and accountability that is a really effective team, and then we'll bring it back together and see the plan that emerges. So we'll really be co-creative in that process.
One more question?
Yeah.
So I'm having a hard time visualizing, how do the students get this information? Do you give it to the teachers and then they distribute it?